Hi, and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. After telling you a few stories about Jesus' disciple called Peter the past few weeks, I'm going to switch to another follower of Jesus this week. This man is called Paul. Paul turned out to be someone quite famous in the end. He wrote quite a lot of the books in the New Testament section of the Bible. We call them books, but they're actually letters that Paul wrote to some of the churches that he founded, and also to some individual believers in some of those churches. Paul also travelled extensively, and this story is a bit about one of those journeys. Paul is in a town called Troas. Today it's in the northwestern part of Asian Turkey. And while he was staying there, he had a vision. If you watched last week, you might remember that I talked about a vision that Peter had. Well, this vision, this story happens sometime after that vision Peter had. And Paul has heard and found out from Peter what had happened, and that God had sent Peter and therefore everybody, all the disciples, to go to places that they weren't expecting. And I guess Paul is already doing that. He's a long way from Jerusalem. He's in a place which is about 1,300 miles away in a foreign land, would have been meeting with not just Jews, but the local population as well. And he had this vision of somebody across the sea in a place called Macedonia asking, "Come over to Macedonia and help us." When this happens, Paul doesn't hang about. Straight away, he starts trying to find a way to get there. Paul and the friends who were with him, they managed to find a way. They found a boat. They travelled across the sea, and they found themselves in Macedonia. They travelled a little bit and found themselves in the city of Philippi. And interestingly, they started out by trying to see if there were any Jews there. They identified a place by the river just outside the city where they thought people might gather to pray on the Sabbath. So they went there and they met a group of women and they began to talk to them about Jesus. One woman in particular, her name was Lydia, got really excited and really got hold of what Paul was saying. And she became a Christian right there and then. And she invited Paul back to her home. And he shared the message again with her whole family. And they all became followers of Jesus. And so was born a church in this city of Philippi. We even have one of the letters that Paul wrote to his friends there. It's in the Bible, the book of Philippians. In it, Paul encourages that church to imitate Jesus, to try and live by doing the kind of things that Jesus did and the kind of things that Jesus would want them to do. That message, I think, is still so important today, certainly important for me. I think it's important to look at the choices that we make every day and try and make the sort of choices that Jesus would want. It would be great if God just provided visions whenever we needed for me to tell me what to do, where to go, how to live, but that's not how it works. We have free will. It's one of the blessings that God gave us. We have free will to make our own choices, but it's my choice to try and make the decisions that I think Jesus would want me to make. Maybe this week, keep that in mind. Think about the values and the reasons why you make the decisions you make. Would that be any different if you thought about the way that Jesus approached decisions and the choices he would make? I do hope you have a great week. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.